Today on Crazed Performance Repair, we are going to continue on with this Corvette deal. I have the differential below. You cannot see that. You can see I have the subframe out. I decided I'm going to pull the subframe out. It was just a matter of hanging the brake calipers so that the brake lines don't, get pulled on and whatnot. So I have those hanging in position. I'm going to go ahead and bring you guys up here to show you something. And once I do that, then we'll get to putting it together. Okay, so here is that input shaft that actually gets pulled all the way through the differential, or you put your differential over top of this, and then there's a seal right here. Now I'm going to be putting a little RTV on here, and I'll explain that in a second. But I wanted to show you these splines here. These are actually a little bit damaged. So there is actually a little bit of a lip on here. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but there is a little bit of a lip here, and it's from the torque rotating against the pinion gear. And I think that pinion gear was actually walking back and forth a little bit, and so it wore out these splines. So here's the replacement differential. It is a used differential. It's a lower ratio, so it'll be a little bit stronger just because it's simply a lower ratio. The ratio on the ring and pinion will actually make a difference in how strong the differential is. So I'm going to go ahead and get this in, but I am going to add a little bit of sealer right in this area because this is a used differential with the original seal. So I'm going to do that, and then we will go ahead and get this thing put in. So I smeared a little bit of RTV on that case area, and I'm going to pick it up and slide it on this. Now, since I have the subframe out of the way, I'm going to be able to let you guys see me put this thing in place and go ahead and do all the nuts and bolts as you're watching right now. Okay, so you can see I have the unit here. This is a pressure vessel. Basically, you put the fluid in it. It's made by Mighty Vac. The MV6400. Now this is a pressure vessel that you put your diff fluid, your transmission fluid, whatever fluid you need to fill, in this case differential, and then you pump up this little handle here, pressurize it, and then you're able to put the fluid into wherever you need to go into with this hose, which is really convenient, especially for differentials. A lot of times you don't have room for a squeeze bottle to try and push it in there. In this case I do. So I have my fluid in there, and I have the drain and the fill out. I have that cylinder pressurized. What I'm going to do is take and flow a little bit of fluid in here. Now I'm going to try and shoot it up towards the top a little ways. And the reason I'm going to do this is so that if there is any kind of little debris kind of in this area, it'll push it out. It's a junkyard unit, or from a scrapyard. When they clean this out, they might have gotten a little debris or whatever caught in there from pulling it out of the vehicle or whatever. They pull an axle, they drop it on a gravel floor. Who knows what they did to it. So I'm going to go ahead and run a little bit of fluid in here that's clean first. The only problem with gear lube is it's so thick, it's really slow moving. There it goes. Now it's starting to flow out of here, so I can go ahead and just get ready here. I'm going to set the drain plug in here once I get a little bit more flow. I'm actually going to take and just plug this with my thumb just to let it build up some, and then I'm just going to give it a little, let it dump kind of a moment. Since it's such a slow, thick fluid, by doing this, it'll maybe give it a little bit of a chance to push something out of there. I mean, probably not, but it's worth a try. I mean, at least I'm giving it some kind of an effort, I guess, is my point here. Well, I do see some little stuff coming out. Now it looks pretty much clean. Not much. I didn't see much of anything. I may or may not have helped. Who knows? But I'm going to go ahead and just let it fill up now. So before I do any full tightening of the frame, I got to go ahead and attach all this stuff here. So I'm going to be attaching the CV axle here. I got to slide the CV axle in, and then once I get that CV axle up into place, I'll do something to hold this so that it doesn't flop, whether it be put it on here or whatever I end up doing exactly. But I'm probably going to have to drop this up and down a few different times in order to attach the assembly here, all this stuff. I'm going to have to prop up the lower half of the suspension in order to do it. It's going to be a little bit of a process, as you can see. I'm going ahead and doing all this stuff, and we're going to get it put together. And the other side is going to be exactly the same, so I'll just fast forward through this side and we won't even bother showing you the other side. Now I'm down to the finishing touches, so I'm just going to go ahead and snug up the bolts for the cradle, and then I'm going to take the exhaust and try and adjust it to the best of my ability. But this exhaust is kind of jacked up. I noticed they have some spot welds where they used to have it. It's been ground, it's been moved, and the spot weld's in the way for this one to go in far enough. But for me to take the time and cut that, I just don't have the time right now, so I'm going to try and get it as close as possible. But it will definitely be better than what it was when the car came in, so at least it's better. I mean, maybe not perfect, but it'll be better. Well, this is interesting. I actually got it way more even than I thought I would. It's actually almost perfect. I mean, it's pretty good. I see it's a little bit crooked, but from my perspective right now, it looks like it's actually pretty good. Give you guys a look. Alright, so while I finish lowering the car here, it's just at the bottom here, I had to torque the wheels. I'm going to mention something. So I had the car drop down and I was ready to torque the wheels, and I already did that now, but I was ready to torque the wheels, and I realized I had to lift the car back up because it dawned on me that I forgot something very important. So if you remember from the first episode, I had put these plates on the torque tube, that plate deal to hold the suspension or the drive line up in the previous episode. And so when I put that up into place just to support everything, I forgot that I had put that up there until I dropped the vehicle down, was just about to torque the wheels, and I'm like, that's right. So lifted it back up, removed them, got the wheels torqued, dropped the car down, wheels torqued. Well, that concludes this episode, except for the test drive. We still got to get that test drive in there, and I was unable to do the test drive right after the video. I totally dropped the ball and forgot. I was kind of in a hurry to get the car ready for the track. So because I did not take the test drive and we just took it straight to the track and we're going to test it on the track, I have only 2 videos at the track, and I'll show those now. So on those 2 videos, you can see that the car's pretty quick. It was not where it should be, and we were not able to get it to work properly with the tune. Long story short, the mass airflow sensor and the way the intake pipe is sitting is very critical as to how well the car runs, and we were locked out of the computer, so we could not just adjust things to make it work the way it should. The tuner that had messed with the car did not do the proper job. But anyway, I digress. So, this customer did not want to spend the money on a computer, and we were at the track, and he's not going to do anything except for drive the car once he gets it finagled into the right position. So he's playing with the pipe. He got the pipe worked to what he thinks is much, much better. And now this next little video clip is the car running properly, and he's running against a roughly 750 wheel horsepower car. So here's that video. And as you can see, that car just runs away from the other car like nothing. I mean, that car didn't stand a chance against his car. So that goes to show you how much power that car makes, assuming that it legitimately makes 750 wheel. So like, share, subscribe, and as always, I hope to see you on another video. Thanks for watching.